Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and a recent study shows that women who are overweight live far longer than the men who mention it. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam today called HumanitZ, developed by YoDubZZ Studios and published by Freedom Games. Boy, I hope I said all that right. Released in early access and selling for $20 American. Now, just look at this title screen. Awful. That's just awful. Now then, this game totes itself as a co-op isometric open-world survival game with zombies, so survive as long as possible. So it's co-op and a survival, pretty much right up my alley, I think. Too bad my wife is at work or she'd be testing this one here with me. But, oh well, let's get right into this sucker. Now, it doesn't really have a story. I mean, it kinda does. I mean, a note that you get in the beginning. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda just skimmed over it, but from what I gathered, it's just your generic note, briefly explaining where you are, what happened, and what you're supposed to do and look out for. But otherwise, you're just plopped into the middle of nowhere, and now you need to survive as you come to expect for a lot of games like this. But, alright, it's time to get into the thick of things, so as always, I'll go into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts. Alright? Okay, so, up first is the positives. The first thing the game has going for it that I noticed was its price tag. Now, upon first glance, you might be thinking that it's too much, but considering everything that's included here, the co-op, the replayability, the fact that there's more to come, and probably more than 10 hours of playtime, and then them only charging $20, I think that's actually a very appropriate price tag, especially for the fact that it's early access and it's not finished yet. So, I mean, I like to see games that are this big, early access, and they realize that, hey, the game ain't finished yet, so why should we charge a whole lot of money? So, I like that. The next positive that I want to talk about is the tutorial. Now, it's not the best tutorial, it has its problems, but for the most part it's fine and decent enough, I suppose. Teaches you everything you need to know and how to do whatever you need to know in a step-by-step kind of way, basically point by point. Now, as I said, it's not perfect. For instance, it doesn't teach you a thing about fishing, only tells you that you can, and it's the most annoying thing ever, and I still don't understand it, still couldn't catch a fish. Then when it comes to the lockpicking mechanic, which, by the way, is exactly like you'd expect if you play Skyrim or Fallout, they put these tiny little lockpicks on the floor. Took me forever to find them, and then I felt stupid because they were literally right there the whole time. But why put these tiny gray objects on a large gray floor, and not on a table where it would be more easy to see? So the tutorial, while good, mostly good, needs some polishing. Next up is the sound effects. I would say all the sound, but that's just not accurate. Like, the music, while it is well done, I think, it's the exact same kind of generic, dreary background music that you hear in pretty much every single zombie survival game ever, so it's hard to get excited about it. There's no voice acting, but for the sound effects, they're pretty on point. I mean, the zombies sound creepy and scary, the footsteps on concrete, gravel, and grass sound good, the gunshots sound good, the impact of your weapon on a zombie, and hell, even the sound of you shooting an arrow from your bow, they all sound really good. And sound is very important, especially for a game like this. The only issue that I have with the sound is that sometimes it sounds like a zombie is coming from your left when it's actually coming from the right, so I guess the placement is a bit off, I think, but otherwise, everything else sounds really good to me. A small positive next is the user interface. It's simple and easy to understand and navigate. Everything feels like it's where it needs to be. Buttons do what you'd expect them to do, and even if they don't, the game will let you change them, which is nice too, because some games make the buttons awful and then they won't let you change it. So they didn't make that mistake here. And last but not least is the gameplay. So the gameplay here is really interesting, but I can't help but feel like I'm playing Project Zomboid. The gameplay is so much like that it's like they're siblings. If you played Project Z, then you know what I'm talking about, but if not, the game's gameplay is very realistic and intuitive. If you want to go into your backpack, your character will actually kneel down and you'll get to see your character opening up their backpack. Then if you want to eat something, you'll get to watch your character actually open up something and eat it in front of you. It's realistic, it's interesting. It's intuitive. You can break windows and climb into houses, smash up cars to scavenge resources. You can lockpick into locked areas. But that's not all. You can also build your own base, farm, hunt, fish, as well as everything under the sun, except one crucial function. As far as I know, you can't sleep. You can't even build a bed to sleep on either. I didn't see it in the building menu. And even when I was in a secured house, I still couldn't sleep on the bed that was there, so I just had to wait until night was over, because there's no way in hell I'm going out there exploring in the dark alone with zombies. That's survival training 101 right there. So, devs, please, add sleeping so we don't have to wait out the night, scared, listening to the zombies trying to get in. But, yeah, overall the gameplay is very realistic and intuitive, and fun and interesting to see and partake in. They even let you set up and start up each game however you want, with several settings that you can pick to let you have the exact kind of experience that you want. I chose easy because zombies scare me. Alright, so that's all I could think of for the positives. Up next is the negatives, but before that, consider this. My channel only gets more views if it already has them. It's an awful paradox, but it's the only real way my channel grows. So if you like watching my stuff and would like to help support my channel, then please spread the word of my channel online. Thank you. Also, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe too. I know, I'm greedy, but I'm also desperate. Now then, on to the negatives. The first negative I have here is the obvious issues with stability. Now, you guys might not be seeing it in my recording, but the game has a lot of issues. Now, I know it's an early access and these are likely to be cleared up in the future, but I review the game as of now, not as of later. Now, granted, the game never crashed or froze on me, but it dropped frames all the time. It was choppy, jittery, and slow randomly, pretty much, it would slow down randomly pretty much the entire time, sorry about that, while I was playing it, which made it more of a chore to sit through all the interesting animations. It also has a few glitches, like it changed my resolution on me without changing my resolution, but locking my mouse to a lesser resolution as if it had actually changed my resolution. Make sense? Plus, sometimes moving items just doesn't work. The design on the equipment management is also just absolutely awful. I mean, you have like 5 slots plus a weapon that you can have equipped. The game will say, this is a good weapon, so you're thinking to yourself, oh, I'll just swap it out for this newer weapon since that one is about to break. Yep, they got weapon durability here. But anyway, the game won't let you for some strange reason, because it doesn't go in the exact same hotbar slot, but then why have it at all? I mean, it's so annoying. The game is filled with inconsistencies like this, and it makes managing your weapons and gear a lot more annoying and hard to equip or unequip as you're playing. It very quickly got on my nerves. Just make it more normal. Like, let me just swap out items and weapons whenever I want. I mean, why the restriction? Why give me a screwdriver and tell me that this is an important tool that you can use for crafting, but it can also be used as a weapon? But then when I click the equipped button, it doesn't equip it. Like, why even have the little icon there that says you can equip this if I can't equip it? And it does that with a bunch of items. So I've got a bunch of items in my backpack and I don't know how to use them. I don't know where they go. My machete is almost broken. Zombies are at the door. I'm panicking. None of the weapons are working, and there's no quick way of doing it because the game has this really weird mechanic where if it's not particularly set as a weapon and if there's already something in your hotbar, then you can't equip it, and then you're just dropping everything just so you can pull up a screwdriver so you can stab that zombie in the eye. It's just frustrating. So yeah, it's got bugs. Hopefully they'll be cleared up soon. The next negative I have is the look and feel of the game. Now personally, I normally hate games with camera angles like this. I mean, in an isometric RPG, it's a bit different, so it's kind of passable, but here, with the zombies and the camera rotation and the zooming in and out at random points as you enter or exit a house, plus the graphics themselves look kind of just average, and it all just feels a bit rough around the edges. The color scheme is nice, and sometimes it's got good attention to detail, but the contrast is lacking, the outlines are lacking, and sometimes it's just overall difficult to look at and manage. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of negatively about this game, at least for right now with my current playtime. So yeah, my final thoughts. Well, overall, I actually think this game has a lot of potential. I mean, I can totally see this game becoming something really fun and interesting down the line. It's actually good, in my opinion. In fact, I'm going to petition my wife later today to see if she wants to try playing it with me. We just finished with Sunken Land after finishing Sons of the Forest, so we're looking for a new survival game, and this one actually looks decent enough to entertain us for the next week or so. Does it have its issues? Sure. But for $20 and with such a great start, I really feel like this game is going to end up being something very, very interesting. So if you like zombie games, and if you like survival games, and if you're looking for a game to play solo or with a friend, this is a pretty safe investment, and I'd encourage you guys and girls out there to give it a try. Alright? Alright, so that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.